One of the funniest things that we talked about is how some of the dates that we had gone on were ridiculously pathetic because there's a lot of broke asses out there in the dating world, right?
Saco mis cadenas, basta de peleas. Aire no me queda, no me tiene penas.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Las Patronas. My name is Luz Corral, the credit expert, with my beautiful wife.
Alicia Mayoral, your real estate mommy.
And today we're going to talk about something so important and yet something that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about.
So we're going to talk about how your relationships affect your money, right?
There's an opposite of effect, most likely is like it affects. I guess you're right. I don't know. I'm so sorry. Today is just, I'm off. I'm so off today. So yeah.
Effects can be positive or negative.
Yes, you're totally right. I don't even know what I was thinking.
Okay, so I know you and I, when we met, one of the funniest things that we talked about is how some of the dates that we had gone on were ridiculously pathetic because there's a lot of broke asses out there in the dating world, right? And we were like, it would be so cool if you can filter, right? Like good credit, like has a car. There is actually one app that tells you if they have a car, which is crazy to me, right? I mean,
Yeah.
at our age, has good credit, has a car, has a savings, has like something going for them, is a
401k,
homeowner,
retirement.
And I guess in a way it sucks because some people would think, well, that would be something a gold digger would look for. But I'm just like thinking that's the basic at our age to have these things, right?
Well, yes. I mean, those are basics. If you're early 20s, I will consider something different. However, I've noticed that nowadays, kids that are 20, 25, 26 are actually more advanced and they have more resources to being successful. So I do see a lot of rich kids that are self-made. So to answer your question, yes. However, let's talk about us and our experience. And we're going to dig in more about how relationships in general, not just romantic relationships,
not just romantic,
do have an effect on your finances. There is a saying in Mexico, in my country, that, you know, we always just, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. That means like, tell me who you're hanging out with and I'll
who your
tell
friends
you,
are, yeah,
you know,
who you are.
who you are. And it's so true. If you tend to hang out with people that talk about finances and talk about credit and they compare, I don't know, 401ks or maybe investments or whatnot, more likely you're going to become one of those people.
Yeah.
Right? And people that actually buy a house or investments or do an Airbnb or whatever type of business they want to do out there, you're most likely are going to end up being one of them. And vice versa, if you hang out with people that only live for the weekend, you know, those that actually, oh my God, thank God it's Friday. We're going to go out drinking. We're going to party it up. We're going to be hungover the next day. We're going to be drunk again and we're going to be doing drugs and we're going to be doing this. Most likely you are going to end up being one of those people. In your experience, and not just romantically, how long did it take you to realize that you needed to make like better friends choices or better acquaintances choices?
You know what? I know for a fact with me, I went backwards. So I was like 20 years old. I was already in the real estate industry. And in the real estate industry, I was rubbing elbows with extremely, extremely rich people. People that cared about money, people that thought about how to invest and how to make your money grow. So for me, and then I was always an old soul. I wasn't partying at 20 years old. I had a daughter at home. You know my story. I was very young. So I went the opposite. I surrounded myself with people and I immediately grew, I mean, so fast. Within the first 5 years of my career, it was just crazy how not only like money-wise, but how much knowledge I had built by surrounding myself around all these people. When I later came out at 30, I felt like I digressed. I started because I wanted to meet other gay individuals like myself. Was hard like to meet them. And yes, I did meetups and I met some successful people, some like-minded people as myself, but I had a harder time. A lot of the people that I was meeting, they were going out every weekend. Like you said, their goals were different and I had children. So it was like on the weekends, when I didn't have my kids, I had fun and I hung out with that crowd. And then, you know, on the weekdays, it was all work and kids. So I feel like when I noticed it the most has been probably the last 3 years of us being together. And you having and me having friends that we had from a long time ago and seeing that we had surpassed them at some point, and we didn't have anything in common anymore. And it's sad because I still have a lot of love for them and we still hang out, but not as much because some people, because they're not in the same frequency as you, they deplete you so much. It's like complaining about their kids, about their husband. And I mean, we have family members too that's like, I feel literally like I'm ready for a 3-day nap because of that energy of like, my life sucks. I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm broke. It's so hard because you try to amp them up and it's like you pour into them so much that you leave and you're like, oh my God. You know?
I think that it's so important to really invest your time and give your time to the right people and to the right situations. It's okay to not say yes to everything or to everything that's going on because it's someone's birthday or whatnot. Our time as your time is very valuable.
Yes.
And you shouldn't give that just to anyone.
And your energy.
You got to protect your surroundings. You got to protect your energy. And I'm telling you, me personally, I have depleted myself trying to give and give and give and give and make everyone else's life better and happy. I thought I was doing that, but at the end of the day, you look back and you end up being the bad person. You're no longer part of the reunions. You're no longer part of the invitations. And that's okay because you make them feel uncomfortable. You make them feel like they have not moved, they have not changed. So they feel like in order for me to be comfortable, I'd rather her not be here. And at one point it hurts because you feel left out and you feel like, what's going on? What did I do? But then now that I realize and now that I read and now that I listen and now that I actually educated myself, I go, you know what? It's actually a blessing in the sky because I don't want to be there. I shouldn't be there. I have other things that are way more important, way more productive. It's not like I'm wasting my time or my money gambling or doing something that I shouldn't be doing. I actually investing everything, and my time is everything, for our business, for our family, for us. So in all reality, yes, you have to be making better choices on the people that you surround yourself with, 100%.
Yeah.
So,
Is there a moment in your life where you were like, yeah, my circle needs to change?
On a yearly basis, I guess every year the circle got smaller and smaller and smaller. There's a meme where it says, I protected myself so much I ended up by myself. I feel like every year we go from lesser and lesser of a circle, lesser of friends, but the better quality people that are sticking around. Because those that are doing as good as you or those that are doing way better than you, which we're just literally right here. Our goals are way above and beyond. They will never look back and say something negative. They will never talk shit about other people. They're just on a different frequency.
Yeah, like the dinner we had last night.
Like the dinner we had last night. It was such a good vibe, and it was so good to just talk to them and feed off their investments and their progress and their family and their kids and the plans that they have for the next 5 years. We make plans on traveling together. And it's not to be bougie or it's not to be like mean or anything, but I'm not at that stage in my life where I want to say, well, I don't have money to do it. Like I do have the money. I work my ass off and I want to travel and I want to have a good life, you know? And for you to hang out with those people that are, money is not an issue. Let me just figure it out, put it on my calendar, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to do that. In your situation, when was it that you realized that your circle was getting smaller?
I never really realized that my circle was getting smaller. I just started feeling like people weren't, like when I would go to parties or I would go to dinners or I would hang out with certain friends, then at the end of the day, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to hang out with this person anymore. This person like absorbs my energy. They're a complainer. They talk about other people. And sometimes it's hard because those people, they're very close. Like sometimes a lot of these people were very close to you. I think that that's what it was. It's just being in my 40s is what I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, I have so many things to talk about and other people's business is not one of them.
When you're in your 40s, you've already gone through your years of everything.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're the most like knowledgeable person when you're in your 40s, but you've been through so much, you've seen so much that it does make a difference. So I've always used to hearing like older people say that, but now that I'm in my 40s, I'm like, oh my God, it's so true. And you're right. I mean, sometimes you come out of places where you say, I don't want to come back. You and I have looked at each other without even saying a word, and we're like, we're never going to do this again. You know, we'll never hang out with those people again. There's one thing that I wish I knew or that I paid more attention to back in my years of like desmadre with my friends.
Not desmadre with your friends.
Yeah, seriously. It was like when people show you who they are,
Yeah.
believe them. They're not going to change. If people go up to you and they start talking shit about their siblings or friends or parents or this,
Kids,
and they're just their
husbands,
kids
wives.
or husbands, they're talking
You don't
about
think?
they're talking about everybody.
Yeah.
You really don't think they're going to go and talk about you? Trust me, they are. So
Yeah.
you got to stay away from those people. Like that's a red flag. And again, I'm not saying you cut them off completely. I'm not saying you don't answer their calls, but you minimize that. You don't like
You minimize access to yourself.
Access to yourself. Make yourself unavailable for those people and invest that in you or in the people that are making you or helping you grow.
Yeah.
I feel like the last trip we have to Mexico City was so productive. That was the word that I was looking for. Productive and healthy. We talk about everything. We talk about relationships. We talk about goals. We talked about failures. We talk about so many things. But at the end of the day, I feel like all of us, especially our friends, came back with a different mentality. And we're making some moves and we're making some changes. And that's because of the energy that we all four had.
Yeah.
If we would have brought more people in, that connection would have never happened. You agree?
Yeah.
So it's okay for you to separate your friends. And that's something that you and I have learned the hard way. Like, I
Yeah.
don't ever want to mix my friends ever again.
Yeah. And a lot of times too, when you do mix friends, I think it's because you don't want to let go of your old friends, but they know like your new friends or friends that even maybe you had in the past, but they're just grown also at the same level as you were above you. They don't really have anything to connect with them either, you know? Some of us get stuck in our 20s or 30s, and then there's just no growth from there, and it's okay, we grow apart. I thought it normally happens like right out of high school, which is what a lot of people say, like your high school friends won't always be, you know, your friends for life. But I think it just evolves throughout life. And then a big thing too is relationships. If your spouse has those type of relationships, they're going to affect you too, because you're with your spouse. So, or the family. Sometimes we can't let go of family and they're so close to us. We love them, but it's okay to love them from afar.
100%. And one thing I've learned, and this is recently, that I have been doing in the past years, I have been doing it little by little, almost like ripping off the Band-Aid. It was so hard for me. So I started doing it little by little, is that remember your spouse, like in our situation, you're my wife and you love me because you genuinely love me. You care about me. You fell in love with me and I fell in love with you. And I genuinely care about you. I don't have to care about you. You don't have to love me. Our family love us because we're family. So they put up with our bullshit. We put up with their bullshit because we're family. But we don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's something I've learned the very hard way, to prioritize my family, which is my wife and my kids and my dogs. And for us as a cultural thing, I grew up thinking my family would always be my parents and my sisters and my brother. You know, that's my family. My family. I got to take care of them. I got to take care of them. And although I still do, I had to let go because it was unhealthy. But I learned the hard way. So if anyone is listening out there, you got to take care of your spouse. You got to take care of your family.
And make sure that your family, those that you're taking care of, are taking care of you.
Yeah, because it shouldn't be a one-way street. It should be both, you know? Like, but and prioritize your relationship, because that is your new family. At the end of the day, that is who you're going to be with for the rest of your life, hopefully. Unless you're a bad person, then that's different. But for the most part, people are with us because they love us, genuinely care about us. And we, you know, are trying to do that for them.
No, I completely agree. As you know, we are very close to the kids and we make sure that they are the same with each other. It's so important. Like I tell them, like, you have each other's back. There's no one in this world that's going to love you as much as we love each other. So you have to protect each other. But also, right, it's a give and take.
Well, I mean, they are going to end up with their spouse, and we're going to become that extended family now. Their spouse is going to be the priority because we
Right. Not that they have to prioritize. They have each other. It's always been like that. Like them three have each other. Them three have had each other's back. I don't want them to ever change that. For example, I love the fact that, Julian came all the way over here yesterday to get his hair done with his sister. Like
Yeah.
they support each other, you
But
know?
also, if let's say Julian ends up with someone that we don't like, or Sophia doesn't like, or Elena doesn't like, it's gonna take a strain of the relationship because there's nothing better than everybody liking each other.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult. I don't think I felt it as much before because I was only in relationships that didn't really mean anything as far as like I wasn't going to take them to the next level or we weren't going to get serious. But when I got with you and I asked you to marry me and we got married and everything, I saw the change. It was like, I don't know what it was. I can't tell you what it is. But at the end of the day, I struggled to prioritize my relationship, and I had to learn the hard way to actually prioritize my marriage. And I'm so happy that I did it because again, if you were a bad person, if you were a bad influence in my life, I would understand, but you're not. And I'm not to you either. Like we've grown together. We support each other. We help each other. We plus to each other. We don't minus. We're not, So that's something that if the world doesn't want to see it or if any other people, that's not our problem. And same for you guys. Like you guys shouldn't focus on that.
And I know you said something about what if they don't like each other. Here's the thing. Everybody's not going to be your cup of tea, but you need to respect each other.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that my kids are always going to like each other's spouses or partners. That's okay. Not everyone is for everyone, but you need to respect each other. And that's the difference, is that some people don't know that boundary. That is their spouse, that is their partner. Be respectful. That will be the mother or the father of your nieces and nephews, and
it makes it so much easier when you actually genuinely like each other, right? Like
right.
It's like you're not losing a brother or sister, you're gaining another one. It's like, and it's so much more fun when you have everybody at the house and everybody's having a good time, and then the kids of the kids of the kids. Like it's just that's what I want. I know that we're talking about how your relationships actually affect your money. You have to be very aware of your surroundings, of the people that you're hanging out with. Pay attention to those red flags and pay attention to the green flags because there are people out there that are amazing people. They're doing amazing things and our problems are so tiny for them because they have way, other things to worry and care about. But with that being said, what's your plan for the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself and how are you going to get there? On regards to dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres.
Well, I've become a lot pickier with my relationships and who I let in, for sure. And I nurture those relationships like the one that, we had dinner with yesterday a lot more. I make time for the people that I know love and care for us and respect us and have a true friendship with. And that's it. I know when we have our little adventure and go to Mexico, I'm looking forward to making some new relationships because on the other hand of how relationships make your money, there has been a lot of relationships that have completely changed my life because I met them because of their mentorship. I mean, one of our business partners, Joseph, like he's an incredible leader and Leo and these relationships that we make do affect our money because they show us a way that they're doing things and it makes you want to keep going and it makes things possible. It can go both ways. It can help you and fuel you and help your business and be very profitable for everybody. And it can be on the other end negative.
It is what it is. So,
all right. Well, I guess let's wrap it up.
Yes, let's wrap it up.
Thanks for watching us.
Thank you so much.
And until next Friday.